Summertime, Potomac River, bass fishing. Stay tuned, you're going to enjoy this one.
Come right up on that buzzbait.
Yep.
Let's see if there's one behind him with the dog X.
Oh, he nailed that thing. Ooh, some.
So,
Yeah.
purdy fish.
Yeah.
That's a purdy fish there.
Summertime, largemouth bass fishing on the Potomac River. Hey, I'm Bob Murray, and welcome to another edition of Delaware Valley Outdoors. I'm on the river today with, again, my good fishing partner and Potomac guide, Bill Kramer.
I'm busy fishing.
He's busy fishing. Bill contacted me again, said, Bob, come on down, the topwater bite's happening. It's July. We got an overcast sky. Well, actually, Bill, we probably have one of the best conditions for top water you could ask for, really.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, I was out yesterday and it was super cloudy just like this all day. I couldn't get him to bite topwater with a hoot. It, you know, every little condition out here will affect the fish. And, you know, barometric pressure and temperature drops and rises and all that good stuff. And sometimes it can be real cloudy and it will not bite topwater. I mean, we had to flip our fish yesterday. We had 1 over 7 yesterday flipping a jig in the grass on a real cloudy day. You know, go figure.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think it'd be the right condition for flipping, but you know, you got to do what you got to do. I'll do anything to catch fish sometimes. I'd rather catch them on top, of course.
Yeah.
You know, I'd rather throw a chug bug or a spook type bait like this mega bass. You know, that's what I'd rather do. I like the topwater bite. So the clients too. I mean, that's what a majority of the time when I'm fishing out here, from April through November, it's topwater. And we've caught a lot of big gar on topwater lately too. That's a lot of fun.
Oh, that could be interesting.
Oh, they blow up on it. You set the hook, and all of a sudden you got a lightning stick on the end of your rod there.
Just something just takes off.
Yeah, just going crazy. You catch a 5-foot gar, boy, you know it. That's fun. It's a lot of fun.
I hope that doesn't happen to me today. I just don't need a 5-foot gar. I've had enough accidents this year fishing with
just watch the teeth.
My fingers and.
Watch the teeth, man. That's all you got to do is watch the teeth.
Yeah.
Ooh, nice bite. Come on, hit again, hit again. Come up at one time.
Yeah.
See if we come up again. Come on, hit it again. We moved out a little bit in the grass bed, and we're getting some darn good bite there. One big one. But if we get real lucky here, we might get a 7 or an 8. I've caught a lot of, this is the time of year you catch a lot of 8-pounders. First week in July, man. I'm dead serious. Catch a lot of 8-pounders. We had that 7.4 yesterday. Another thing too, Bob,
yes.
This big buzzbait will cast a mile.
Yeah, I'm having with this smaller one, I'm really having to
work hard
out there.
Plus, I'm using a 2-handed trigger stick. What I did, I took a 7-foot glass rod, medium heavy. I cut it down to a 6-foot stick, put a 2-handed handle on it.
So you can really drive it.
Man, I can drive it. Sucker will go, boy. Another thing too, if you watch the cast, here's another very good thing to remember. Watch your bait as it leaves the rod tip, okay? And right before it hits the water, lock your reel so your bait comes right up on top of the water. It's extremely important in a grass bed.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if it sinks in, man, you're going to get covered with grass and you wasted your cast.
Yeah.
You know?
By the time you get it up on top, you're done.
Right, right. So I always watch that lure as it leaves the rod tip. Right before it hits, boom, and she's right on top. Another thing too, you get grass on it, give it a little jerk. Sometimes we'll pop the grass right off. Okay, this is where we ought to get bits right down through here. It's a good section, man. There's usually some big fish living right in the middle of this bay. We catch them on either end, on the inside, on the outside. But if you'll notice where we've been catching the fish, it's mainly end, middle, end. And that's almost every grass bed I fish, it seems like that. It's not, you know, it's not always, but that's just how it seems. Come on, Mr. Fish. Another thing, if you watch this clacking buzzbait, it does not have that bend in it, but it still rides the bait straight down. It rides the bait down.
Maybe the weight.
The weight. It does. You don't need to put that bend in the shaft. It will just ride straight down. Depends on the blade size too. If you put an oversized blade on this thing, which it used to have, it'll ride on its side, just like yours is riding. Yeah.
Bill, now we're throwing buzzbaits. I know you like to use the Zara spook and chug bugs, but I mean today they seem to be blowing up on the buzzbaits more. But how do you go about determining weed conditions and that kind of stuff to go with a buzzbait or a chug bug?
This stuff here is like up to the surface, so you can't throw a spook or a pop or a chug bug through it. You just, I mean, all it would do is snag the grass. A buzzbait is much more effective in this type of water. If the water was a little bit more open, I'll tell you what would work great. If this water was another 6 inches higher over top of this grass, you could throw a spook over it and you'd probably get some better bites. I mean, you'd probably get some better bites on that spook than on the buzzbait. I just really believe that the spook is probably the spook and a dog X are the best two big fish baits that I've got as far as topwater goes. But there's days also where they don't want the walking bait. They want a chugging bait like a chug bug or a pop or, you know, Rico type thing. They've got a new mini chug bug out too. That's they call it a baby bug. That thing's pretty awesome. Yeah. We just got some, and I'd like to throw some out here, but it wouldn't be appropriate in this condition. You really want to fish the most effective bait for the area, and if you were to throw a chug bug out here right now, you'd be catching grass on every single cast, you know, and you'd just be fouling your cast up. Whereas the buzzbaits are coming right through it. Now another thing we could do too is we could possibly go to a different size buzzbait and maybe catch bigger fish.
I'm using a real small buzzbait.
Yeah, we're both throwing the small, you know, 1/8 or 1/4. These are like, this is an 1/8 ounce bait. You could throw this size, or my favorite is a 3/8 ounce that I make at home with a clacker on it. It's my absolute favorite. I catch a lot of big fish on that thing. What I actually did is took a heart body from one of their buzz baits, and I add a clacker to it is what I do. I change the blade size to a smaller blade so I can retrieve it faster. And it squeaks more and clacks more and all that stuff.
So you talked about blade size there, but 2 blade, 3 blade?
Single blade, just like this for grass beds. This is the absolute optimum buzzbait you can throw through a grass bed. There's inline buzzbaits that don't work real good for grass beds. A little R bend like that is the absolute deal. That's the deal you want for grass bed fishing. Comes through the grass a lot more effectively. And you have to figure out what size they want. I almost always throw white with a buzzbait. Almost always throw white. And like we were talking earlier, I want a blade that squeaks.
There's a fish.
That one will definitely do. Good fish, real healthy. They spawned a long time ago in here. So these fish are all definitely in their summertime patterns. This is fun.
Okay, you talked about summertime patterns. Let's just give me some summertime patterns for the Potomac.
Here you are. Right here what we're doing, fishing grass beds with buzzbaits on a cloudy day. High outgoing tide. Once the tide gets way out, we'd be better off positioning ourselves towards the outside edge instead of the inside edge.
Throwing.
Yeah, throwing in and coming out. I want to fish clear water though. You know, it changes every single day. Wood might be the deal one day, where grass might be the deal the next day. You know, buzzbait fishing right now is fine. We're having a good time. We're catching fish. But this could all change in an hour or two. That sun comes out, they might, that was good fish way out there.
Yeah.
They might not come up on a buzzbait in an hour or two if that sun comes up. I have caught them all day long in bright sunshine on a buzzbait before. It all depends on the mood of the fish and what's going on with the weather, period. You have to figure out what they want. That's why I have a box. My tackle compartment there is stuffed. Absolutely stuffed with, you know, poppars, chug bugs, Zara spooks, buzzbaits, jigs, worms, little crankbaits, spinnerbaits. That's why I've got so much tackle. Am I, you know, a tackle connoisseur? Absolutely not. I'm a very cheap individual who hates spending money on tackle. I'd rather have one bait that can catch them on all day long, but that does not happen.
No, no, and you got to adjust to that.
You have to adjust to what the fish want. Yeah, versatility is the absolute deal if you want to catch a lot of fish all the time. You have to change, and the reason the pros like Denny Brower and all those guys do so well is they change, especially somebody like Kevin Van Dam. Van Dam is one of the best individuals I can think at this, is changing with the conditions to what the fish want. They know that when that high pressure front comes in or that low pressure front comes in, they know what's going to happen 90% of the time. It doesn't mean it's going to happen all the time, but 90% of the time, this is what the fish are going to do. They're going to come out, they're going to be in this grass, they're going to draw tight, or they're going to go right to the wood. You know, you should be flipping wood in here. You know, a buddy of mine says every piece of wood in a grass bed can hold a 5-pound fish. You know, that's what he says. I mean, have I caught a 5-pounder off every piece of wood in a grass bed? No, I have not. I've caught quite a few 5-pound fish off of wood and grass beds, but not every single one will hold a 5-pounder like he says. But you should fish around every piece of wood in a grass bed.
And
absolutely.
Figure that there might be a 5-pounder on that.
Absolutely. There he is.
There he is. Yeah, it's a better fish.
That one will do. Now see, good quality buzzbait right in the roof of the mouth.
We were just talking about this. Now, I have my lucky buzzbait on today, and
sorry,
it is not catching fish. Well, it is catching fish,
missing
but not
fish.
setting the hook. And Bill brought this point up that the hook on his bait is.
Let's look at these. Okay, you've got a little 1/0 hook there. You've got a big old 3/0 hook there. There's a couple different things here. Okay, check out the bend in the buzzbait there compared to the straight shaft there. This will ride like this most of the time. This one will ride like this coming through the water most of the time. Putting the hook and the skirt down in the water a little bit deeper and giving the fish a better target.
Yeah.
Right. Plus, here's a couple other things. The beads. I hate beads on buzzbaits, especially fishing grass. What happens is these beads will catch grass and block the blade from turning properly. Another thing too, spin that. This one will squeak in the water as it comes through, and it's rivet right to the metal of the blade itself. The squeak will draw a lot of bites also. Another thing too for a buzzbait is a good high density glass rod. Something a little stiffer than you would for a crankbait, but what it does is it allows the fish to take the bait a little deeper.
Yeah, it does. The rod doesn't react as fast.
Right, absolutely.
Graphite.
Another thing too here on buzzbaits, use your rod tips down when you can, because what will happen is the blades throw more water than with the rod tip up. A couple of great little tips for you on buzzbaits. When you're fishing real thick grass, you have to work your rod tip up. But when you're working grass like this, where the water's fairly over top of the grass like this, you know, you got like a foot or so of water, a little bit it's up to the surface, you can work your rod tip down. Should get some more bites in here. Had quite a few already. We just keep, you know, missing them. Keep blowing up on us and missing them.
It is. It's probably. I know when we did the show up on the Susquehanna with the top water.
Smallies, yeah.
And the smallies. That is so exciting to have those fish blow up on.
And nobody. Yeah. The thing that I hate about folks is you catch smallmouth on top water. Well, you're not using little tubes and little weenie worms and stuff? Hey man, throw a big old Zara spook or a chug bug. I'll tell you what, it is a bona fide blast. Let's see if we can get some more bites in here. Come on, Mr. Fish. Water's a little bit more stained right here from where we just were. We're also coming up towards the end of the grass bed. The middle of the grass bed there was crystal clear. Of course, that's always better, I believe.
Yeah, I like it.
I like it.
Bill, we've been on the water here at Ketchum. You're a guide. Tell us about your guide service so you can come on down and get a hold of you.
Well, we fish here on the Potomac River, fish the Susquehanna, we have Canadian trips, we do Lake Erie, Lake Winnipesaukee. You can get a hold of me at my house, which is 301-840-9521, or write me or check out my website.
Okay, and you're interested? Get a hold of Bill. I know I've never been disappointed. We've always had absolutely great times down here. I don't think anybody knows the Potomac better than he does. Got great spots for the summer, the spring, and the fall. If you're interested in coming down,
Top water.
top water. If you want to catch some great fish on top water, see Bill.
Get out of that grass. And the clacker once again.
I'm going to have to go to a clacker, my friend. Now, how much are those clackers, did you say?
You can't buy one. Out here on the water, do you? $500-600, I think that'll do.
We'll write the check. We'll write the check. We're here at the tackle box section of the show. Bill, we're using a lot of top water this morning. And this is a really nice bait you were talking about. Give us a little information about this new bait that you're using this morning.
It's made by a company called Mega Bass. It's called a Dog X. It's a little spook bait. They also make some popping baits and some cranks, but I really like their little walking baits.
Yeah, and it's got a nice body to it. It really makes it.
It's got great detail.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an awesome little bait.
Yeah. And then, obviously, we're just throwing the
Storm chug bug.
Chug bug here.
Yeah, I put my own tails on that. I tie these tails myself. I do retail them. They're called pro tails, in a variety of sizes and colors. Mainly just a white or a pearl body with a dark top. And you always want some sort of target area, like a red front or an orange front. Of course, I'm using owner hooks on those too.
Yeah, that's one of the things. You gotta have sharp hooks. I know you
gotta have them sharp hooks, man. Owners are the best hook in the world, as far as I'm concerned.
And then we were using some buzz baits, and we caught a lot of fish on buzz baits. And we had mentioned. Give me the other bait you were talking about.
Oh, this is a little guy. That clacker's right behind you, Bob. Orange rod. Just grab that orange rod.
Okay. Talk about this bait here. This is a really interesting bait that you have here.
It's just a regular heartthrob buzz bait, and what I've done is I've taken the blade that was on the heartthrob off, and I put a clacker blade on it, and then I put a smaller blade, one size down on the blade. It's a 3/8 ounce. It tracks through the water straight with the bait hanging just like you got it.
And with this going around, this clacker hits
it,
and some of the biggest bass we caught was on this bait here with that clacker.
Yeah.
And it really does makes a lot of noise
in the water. And if you look at my blade, the blade's all torn up, the clacker's all torn up. That blade's about to get replaced. Another thing too, make sure that your rivets are crimped. That way the blade squeaks against the rivet. The tail end of the blade there, the little plate there, squeaks against the rivet. And you see the rivet's all torn up. It's about to go. You know, that's just how I work them. You know, other people have other ways. Some people use plastic blades. I happen to like the aluminums that squeak with the rivets.
Yeah, I like where you can hear that, boy.
Right.
That's great. And that did catch a lot of big fish today.
Yeah, another thing too, on the short strikes, if you're getting a lot of short strikes, two things you can do: add a trailer hook, number one. Number two, take a pair of scissors and just cut your skirt off right there at the shank of the hook.
Yeah, because a couple of them on my bait today blew up on the back.
See how long the skirt is on yours? It's real long. Heck, it's going an inch past your. I mean, it's real long compared. I mean, look how much bulk you have back, and you're coming up and grabbing it here and missing the hook.
They're missing the hook. And I had some big fish hit this thing on it, and the gap of the hook isn't that wide.
Right, it's a small hook. You know, a bigger hook helps, trailer helps, and also cutting your skirt back. Now you can add just a trailer onto that without cutting the skirt back if you really think they're hitting the bulk of the bait. Just put a little trailer hook on.
Again, this bait, I think, had a little disadvantage today because it didn't have a bigger hook on it.
Right.
And I know some
and
of
the skirt's long.
And the fish that I had hooked, I lost because of that. And I think that's it. But this is just I like this little 1/8 ounce buzz bait too.
Right. Well, you can get like we were talking earlier, you can get these a little bit. This is a Cavitron. It's got a bigger hook on it, and the rivet is crimped. So it squeaks good coming through the water. And supposedly the holes, if you can see the holes in that blade there, supposedly those holes will help it to stay up, and you can actually work it slower. It'll grab more water with the holes.
And then
in
that
the
L
blade.
bend also makes
The
it
L
sharp.
bend makes it track through the water just like that. That's how it tracks through water.
Top water tips from the pro. Let's go. We got. There's a lot of fish out here.
Hey, I want to fish some more, so we'll see you later. 3 pounds?
Yeah.
3 pounder. Absolutely 3 pounder.
Top water on my lucky buzzbait.
What he means is he's lucky to get him in with that buzzbait.
I got this one stuck pretty good.
And sometimes it'll draw a better strike.
Right.
Come on, boy. Let's get him around here. Let's swing him around one more time. That's a good largemouth. Now I switched over to a clacker. It's got a short little skirt on it. That's a good fish. Not too shabby at all.
No, very nice fish.
Yeah. Now I switched over. He was throwing an 1/8 ounce. I switched over to one of these hearts, but I take the blade off. I put a smaller blade on it, and I put a clacker on it. The clacker seems to draw some bigger strikes. I don't know why. Notice that the skirt. Well, I'm going to push the skirt back up. The skirt's fairly short, barely comes over the hook shank, and that keeps you from getting short strikes. Decent fish.
Look at this. Get a little bit up there. Largemouth, top water, July. Bill Kramer, let's do it. You got to come down here. It's great. Hey, I'm Bob Murray, and I'll see you again on Delaware Valley Outdoors. And don't forget to stop at our website, www.dvoutdoors.com, for all the reports. Bill's going to be putting reports on our site, so you'll know what's happening on the Potomac and all around the Delaware Valley. I think you'll enjoy it. Hey, we'll see you again. All right, I'm going to get that 7-pounder right now.